You all got quiet for nothing. We are waiting for the Zoom switch over. All right, calling to order the regular board meeting of Tuesday, December 13th. Can I get a roll call?
President Hinckley?
Here.
Vice President Duran?
Here.
Trustee Doss is not here yet. Trustee Davidson?
Here.
Trustee Boyd?
Here.
Student Board Member Dana?
Here.
Student Board Member Garcia Bustamante?
Here.
Dr. Wells?
Here.
Thank you. And we will now recite the Pledge of Allegiance for those who would like to join. Thank you. And it is finals week, so we will only have our student board members here for a little bit of time, but please, if you could read our mission and vision statement and meeting norms.
Yep. The mission of Albany Unified School District is to provide excellent public education that empowers all to achieve their fullest potential as productive citizens. AUSD is committed to creating comprehensive learning opportunities in a safe, supportive, and collaborative environment, addressing the individual needs of each student.
Meeting norms. Maintain a focus on what is best for our students. Ensure a safe environment for all views to be expressed, treating each other, staff, and the public respectfully. Endeavor to find common solutions to issues through collaboration without sacrificing one's beliefs in what is best for students. Make a commitment to effective deliberation, each one listening with an open mind, while others are allowed to express their own points of view, even if one disagrees.
Thank you. And there's one misnumbering on the agenda. So item F, administering the oath of office, should be number 6. Aside from that, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda unless there are any questions.
I move that we approve tonight's agenda.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The agenda is approved unanimously with one absence. And now I'm going to turn the rest of the meeting to you for item 5, recognition of outgoing board members.
Thank you, Madam Chair, President Sarah Hinckley. I'm going to ask the board members to meet me, the outgoing board members to meet me over there at the podium. We can call that First Street. And I'm going to do my my typical ritual, but saying goodbye in a special way. What? Yes, this one's Sarah Hinckley. As you all know, committing 4 years, long 4 years during a tumultuous time with the pandemic was not an easy feat. And yet we've had our 3 board members who've gone out who worked tirelessly and remain steadfast in their commitment to our kids, keeping the kids at the center of our work. Having wonderful spirited debates. Some people call them disagreements, but we stayed the course. And I think we're better and stronger for that kind of collective effort. And so we wanted to take a time out to honor our outgoing board members, starting with our current board president, Sarah Hinckley. It is an honor and recognition of your dedication and commitment to Albany Unified School District. We thank you for your services as board trustee 2018 to 2022. And board president for 2020 and 2021 school year, awarded this day, December 13, 2022. We also not only have a wonderful, beautiful plaque for you, and you see the hammer for the president? It's kind of neat, I like this. we also have a swag bag. And although you're leaving the board, we know you're still here in the community, staying active, and we appreciated that. One of the favorite things about the swag bag is these most popular shirts where you see staff and teachers and administrators wearing them, a sense of unity. And it's called Albany on the front. You know we're coming? Because we're very proud. Albany proud. So on behalf of the school district and our community, we present to you both the swag bag, there's other goodies in here as well. Yeah, and a plaque for your office, and thank you for your service. This is one of our movers, and you can't forget her. Miss Spirited is what I call her. And 4 years of, it's hard to believe that I'm in my 4th year. All the many, many meetings and wonderful debates, both before the meetings and after the meetings, to move the district forward. We're going to honor our Vice President, Clementina Duran, with this plaque. And it says, in honor and recognition of your dedication and commitment to Albany Unified School District, we thank you for your services as Board Trustee 2018-2022, Board Vice President, 2 terms, 2019 and 2021, awarded on this day, December 13th, 2022. I won't take anything out the swag bag, but it's the same with Albany's t-shirt. And you have your disability squad who donated shirts and other goodies as well. We have someone missing, and that is Trustee Brian Dawson. In his absence, I want to recognize him with the same plaque. He did leave a message and let us know that he was at his daughter's basketball game in Martinez, and it should end about 5 o'clock. And my response was, good luck with that traffic. And so he said he's going to get here and he's going to die trying. So hopefully he's okay and he makes it eventually. But on behalf of the school district, this is for Brian Dawson, in honor and recognition of your dedication and commitment to Albany Unified School District. We thank you for your service as a board trustee 2018-2022, board vice president, 2 terms, 2018 and 2020, awarded on this day, December 13, 2022, to Trustee Brian Doss. So what you all were waiting for is next on the agenda, and I guess I kind of facilitate that. What's going to happen next is that is the oath of office, if I remember correctly. And so,
Dr. Wells, I don't know the right thing to say to interrupt right now. Are we allowed to say things to the outgoing board members to honor them?
The plan was, but the short answer is yes. But the plan was we were going to make it quick and sweet. And so if we can keep it to a minute under, respecting the time, that would be great.
Okay, very quickly. And I am going to not say anything about Trustee Doss because he's not here right now, not because he is not in my heart. But he told me to be quick. President Hinckley. No, because I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say it has been an honor and a privilege to see the way that you have led this board with such grace, under such pressure. If you don't have a front row seat to it, you don't understand what is required to be the president of this body. All the emails, all the meetings, all the knowledge, well, you know, this refers to this thing that happened however many years ago. And I'm just like, what are you even talking about right now? But that was during my term, so I should know that. But I don't even remember what you're referencing. And it's too much, so I'll have to just write you like some sort of a letter or something. But it's just incredibly impressive, and it takes more than people know and understand, especially during this time period in particular. And so it's just been a real honor, and I will miss you a great deal. But I mean, I'm still gonna see you because, you know, we're still here. Albany proud, or strong, or whatever it says on the back. And then Vice President Duran, I I just so appreciate and have learned so much just from your passion and your fire. And I know that we talk about how we're a nice little balance. You've got the fiery thing, and I'm kind of a bit more mild, and we sort of work together and we get things done, hopefully. But I'm a moderate sort of person, but I need that fire and that passion in my life. I need that progressivism. I need that, even if I don't agree with every word that's coming out of your mouth, your sort of energy is what moves things in the right direction, and it can't happen without people like you who are willing to throw some fire into things and not be so worried about who am I going, is someone gonna be, potentially, possibly offended by something that sometimes you just need to kind of speak the truth. And I respect you a great deal. I respect your life of service and of activism, and I will still be seeing you and asking you for the fire so that I can keep moving forward in a good way. So thank you.
And hopefully you'll listen to this 1 minute. Yeah.
Sometimes I've been told I speak too quickly. I just wanted to appreciate both of you. I don't think we realized what we were stepping into when we were both convinced to run for school board, and you both just took us under your wings, and we had so many phone calls. And like Trustee Boyd said, nobody knows what this really takes until you're sitting up here, and nobody knows the emotion that goes into it and that you're on it all the time, in addition to being parents, grandparents, spouses, other supporters, maybe working, all of these things. And both of you just showed up every time. We're prepared, more prepared than many of us, and really set an example that I hope we're gonna just continue on. And I think that everyone has watched that and said this is the model. And thank you both. And now we'll have some time to have some non-Brown Act conversations, and I really look forward to those. So cheers to both of you, and thank you so much.
Can we also go really guys? Okay. President Hinckley, or Sarah, thank you so much for everything you have done. You have been such an extreme role model for me, and I'm sure for you, Nellie, as well. The weekly meetings I'm going to miss. I really appreciate the time that you spent trying to get you, Nellie, and I caught up, and I really admire your leadership, and I appreciate your presence on the board, and it will be missed. And then for Clementina, you were the first person to ever reach out to me on my interviewing panel, and then to even be here right now, and then to do the resolution for the Hispanic Heritage Month. And I just thought it was so wonderful that you really thought to include students in everything that you set your mind to. And it's incredible to see your passion, just as Trustee Boyd was talking about. And I really I also appreciated your presence, and I'm going to miss you. So I'm going to miss both of you. Thank you.
I want to make this really, really quick. I have known both of you for less than a year, but it was enough time for me to notice how dedicated you are to this role and how much work you put in to make sure that students get the best education that they possibly can in Albany. And I just really want to appreciate that, because I am obviously a student in Albany, and your work has paid off to give me the education that I'm receiving. And I'm going to miss you both very, very much. And yeah, thank you.
And this brings us to our oath of office administered by our city clerk, Albany City Clerk. And so you would assume the officiating at this time.
So would the trustee-elect please join me in front of the dais? It's right there. Either way. And you might want to face front so that the camera can get your... I can see that. Well, congratulations. And if you could please raise your right hand and repeat after me, and I have them on here in case if you need it. I, and please state your name one at a time. Do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. And all of you, do you attest to the oath that you just took? Yes. Thank you. You may lower your hands down. Congratulations again.
And after you receive your certificate of oath, that I'm going to ask you to just find a seat up here so we can continue with me facilitating the reorganization of the board, starting with the position of president, and then hand it over to the person who gets elected as president to facilitate the election of vice president, and then we will continue with our meeting. So we can take a minute for folks to get situated. We don't need to rush. Ms. Gonzalez, can you put the next agenda item up? I may or may not read it from here, or I may read it from... The next agenda item is the Annual Board of Education Reorganization, as I mentioned earlier. This takes place annually, hence the word annual. Let's go to the next slide, because I can read along while the audience follows, and then we can get into the facilitation of the nomination and voting of board president. And so at the Annual Board of Education, the Annual Board of Education reorganization is held each December as called for in the Board Governor's Handbook, which helped to guide how we govern. This includes statement of interest in president and vice president positions, election of board president, election of board vice president, appointment of superintendent as the board official secretary. So instead of going through the next 6 or 7 or 8 pages that I can do the abbreviated version, basically is that I'm going to ask first, are there any members of the Board of Education interested in serving as president? Okay, I have 2. Let the record show we have Trustee Veronica Davison and Trustee Ron Rosenbaum. And so there's no need nomination here. We can, typically they would have a flip of a coin or some other things in the handbook, but we don't. And so I would take out, I used to carry change, and when I need it, I don't have it.
So in no particular order, Trustee Khan? Trustee Rosenbaum? Excuse me? Trustee Hopwood? Trustee Davidson? Trustee Boyd? Trustee Dana? Trustee Garcia Bustamante?
Congratulations to the new president of the Board of Education, President Veronica Davidson. I'm going to ask you to come and take your rightful seat next to me, or me next to you, rather. Yeah, but no, not at all. I don't even. And yeah. Board President Davidson will facilitate of the vice presidency, and we will proceed from there. I would hand the facilitation of the meeting over to her in about a minute, so you can take your time and to breathe and collect yourself, and then we can pick it up from there.
We will now do the election for the vice president of the board. Is there anybody who would express interest in being the vice president of the board? Okay, it looks like we have Trustee Boyd and Trustee Rosenbaum. So we'll flip the coin again. Okay, and Trustee Boyd, you raised your hand a little bit before, so I'm gonna let you pick heads or tails. And it is heads. I swear we did not rig this coin. Okay, so roll call, please.
Okay. President Davidson?
Yes.
Trustee Rosenbaum? Yes. Trustee Hopwood? Trustee Khan? Yes. Trustee Boyd? Yes. Trustee Dana? Yes. Trustee Garcia Bustamante?
Okay, that is a unanimous vote for Trustee Boyd to be the vice president of the board. And we'll clap for our new board members because we are very appreciative that you've joined the board.
Madam Chair, before we continue, I'm going to ask that we take a moment to acknowledge our two student trustees who have to leave to go prepare for finals tomorrow. This is finals week at the high school, and they wanted to have a graceful departure, but they also wanted to witness the incoming board and the reorganization and participate in that. So thank you, guys, and now go home and study.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll now do the approval of the consent calendar. Are there any questions or comments about the consent calendar or a motion to approve? Let's make sure we use you have to push to talk or push to mute on these. Otherwise, it doesn't pick it up on the Zoom as well.
Second.
Roll call, please. Yes, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The consent calendar has been approved unanimously. We will now pass over our student board member reports. And we now have persons to address the board on matters not on the agenda.
I had consent calendar items over there.
Oh, you had public comment on the consent calendar?
Yeah, I had it on the,
Sorry, we can go back and do that.
Our apologies. I don't think there was a topic listed on here.
it says 8C, 8D, and 8G.
Okay.
Apologies, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, 8C, I just want to say that this field trip festival to Oregon Shakespeare has been going on since I was in Albany High School, and it's a regular thing. And I never knew it actually had to be approved on an agenda item when I was in high school. Apparently it does need to be approved. So yeah, thank you for approving it. It's a great thing for the students. Also 8D, preschool program. I wasn't super aware. Maybe I'm a little bit of an Albany preschool, but maybe there needs to be more Albany preschools. I'm not sure. Is there an Albany preschool? There is. Is that on Albany Hill?
720 Jackson, yes.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, yes, okay. So there is an Albany preschool. Thank goodness for that. And so maybe we can expand that a little bit. I know Albany's in need of preschools and aftercare programs like that. I'm not sure what the preschool is used for after school, but maybe that facility could be used for an after school program. And then 8G, I was wondering about what is a forensic analytic consultant services for? I mean, it's a high school. I mean, well, it's a unified school district. I was just wondering, what are the costs coming from the budget going toward a forensic specialist, and what the forensic analytic consulting services would actually be doing in the school district? That's my question. Basically, I just have a question for 8G is, what is a forensic person doing for the school district, and how much does it cost from the budget?
Do you want to answer that, Superintendent Wills or CBO Kim?
So this is part of Cornell project that is going to cost about $7,950, and it is for the Cornell project that we are doing for the HVAC system. So when we want to install the HVAC system, we do need to have a little bit of study and testing there. And it is paid from the school state facility improvement grant.
My understanding is that we need to make sure that there's no asbestos and there's no vapor that is attacked.
That is correct. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it.
Is that all your questions? Did you have one more?
Just gonna wait for the not on the agenda item.
Okay. We'll just move to that. You want to go ahead? Okay.
Congratulations, President. Thank you for moving into this public comment. It's a nice, smooth segue you did there. Appreciate that. So yeah, I probably need to send out a new email to the school board since now you're all on the school board. I've been trying to spearhead some sort of fentanyl awareness programs with the district before you got involved. And so I'll send another email out tonight. And I know Deb is having a little trouble getting hold of the parents, but I've reached out to a parent and I double checked the email. So I'll be sending another email tonight with the contacts of all the parents that spoke in that public comment on August 30th, which happened to be my birthday. So yes, and I just want to let the new board members know that last month I attended a fentanyl awareness summit meeting in Dublin at the Alameda County Sheriff's Office, and I was pretty much the only civilian there. Actually, I took place of one of the parents, Elizabeth, who couldn't show up, and so I took her place. And so there were parents there, and I met all sorts of DEA officers, an attorney for the United States. There was a lot of information there, and so I've left all the business cards and everything I've networked, collected from that. I turned over to Deb. I made a photocopy of the business cards for myself to keep in contact. Basically, I'm going to contact the DEA office of San Francisco and for sure Oakland, because it's right there in downtown Oakland. And so I'm going to continue reaching out for their services. And now we have a wonderful new district attorney for Alameda County, and so I believe she's going to do a great job. So, and I read something tonight on Google, happened a few years ago. There were middle school students that got sent to the hospital for swallowing pills. There's 5 of them. So I didn't know that pills are getting down to the middle school age. So thank you.
Thank you for your consistent efforts and your public comment. I just had one quick question. It was not for you, but I appreciate it, Jeremiah. This weekend, someone asked me actually if we would consider, and I don't know the regulations on this, a single email that's on the website for all of that goes to the whole board and the superintendent. The city has one, and it goes to the entire city council. So I didn't know if we would consider that for ease or if that makes things more difficult.
We can certainly look into that and circle back.
All right, we are now moving, oh yes.
Excuse me, President Davidson. I believe that we still need to formally appoint Dr. Wells as the secretary of the board.
Good thing you're the vice president. Let's formally appoint Dr. Wells as the secretary of the board. We'll just, do you need to do a roll call or do we just do aye?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously. All right, we are now moving on to the review and action items. And the first item is the CSBA Policy Development Workshop and Policy Manual Development Agenda. And I will hand this one over to, is this going to you, Dr. Wells?
Yes, but the person facilitating this is our executive director, Deb Brill, regarding the CSBA policy agreement.
Hello, everybody. It's wonderful to see our faces of our new board and our returning members. Welcome to all of you, and excited to be here with you. So the item that is up is a contract for CSBA for a workshop that we are looking to do with them. What we have is a large number of board policies, and we're finding this across a lot of different districts that come out of compliance as Ed Code gets updated. And it's more than just like, oh, let's look at a couple of different policies and let's make some updates. It's a lot of looking at the compliance pieces, and CSBA already has all of this work done. They've already collected kind of what all of those updates are. And what they offer, we reached out to them because we really want to bring everything up into compliance. And while there are certain types of board policies that we know we want to put extra energy into, like our equity policy, that's a separate kind of piece, or attendance related to mental health days, that's a separate kind of piece. A lot of these policies is really about compliance. And CSB offers a 2 to 3 day workshop where they will come to us and sit with members of our executive cabinet and give us, like, here's the reading, here are these stacks of policies, compare this, and they do an analysis of what we have and what's missing and where the problems are, and they walk us through, and anything that's like has some room for kind of subjectivity, then we work through and talk through. And at the end of that 2 to 3 day workshop, we then will have a big stack of policies that we can then bring to the board for approval. And it's a way for us to really just bring ourselves up to be up to date, and then we can just continue the work that we've been doing, where we focus in on the specific work around policies that need more specialized attention. So what we're bringing to you tonight is a contract for them to come and do this 2 to 3 day workshop, and I hope that we can approve it and move forward.
Are there questions, comments from the board? Trustee Rosenbaum?
Yes, Dr. Wales, what would be the follow-up for this as far as the board reviewing the changes in the policies and going through them? I know in the past we've gone through one set at one meeting, one set at the next meeting, because I really want to make sure that the entire board agrees with everything that's there and everything that's been changed.
Yeah, that would be the typical and normal way to do it, Trustee Rosenbaum. However, we're talking about all the policies, some of which are 10 or 20 years old, and so we may be talking about 100-plus policies.
Correct.
That we would make them available for the board, but I don't think we would have the time or the energy, considering our priorities, to have every board go through them. So we make sure the board would get it in due time, so if you want to go through it on your own. But staff will have done that and vetted it. And if there's any policies that we think might be controversial, we would identify them and highlight them for the board as well.
So my thinking is that because these are the board policies, that we need to actually have a chance to go through them in 100 or so policies, because the book is like that, that I really want us to get a chance to discuss the 100s, the 200s, the 300s. So I would at least want to be able to ratify the policies in sections, so that we could ratify the zeros in one meeting, because then we can review them at home and ask questions.
You're making it very digestible. I like that route. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Because board policies that the board hasn't read and hasn't approved, so we have to find out an expeditious way to do that. You're welcome.
Do you feel like we need an amendment, or are you comfortable with the contract as it is?
No, because
we're just approving the
no,
contract?
because that's something that would have to do with setting agendas. And so if in February we want to look at the zeros, we'll put that, get it out to the board in a timely manner so that we can actually read them and come with the right questions, so we don't spend 5 hours on each one.
Got it. And duly noted. And much appreciated.
Trustee Boyd, Vice President Boyd?
Thank you, President Davidson. I just wanted to say that I'm really in favor of us doing the policy fixing and, approving in this manner. I have seen how much time can be spent just working on one individual policy when people get into what is this clause, what are these words, what, is there a way that I could make this sentence the best sentence in the whole world? And I don't want to spend so much time on that, or really spend much time on that if they're not controversial, substantive matters that we really, feel that are worth our time, because it takes our time away from making the district as good as it can be for our students. So just appreciate you all figuring out how to get the service provided to us in a way that we can be in compliance, important, but also we can be focusing on the matters we need to focus on.
Oh, and I agree with that. Just that we have them and get a chance to really look at them, do our due diligence, and be prepared to discuss the ones that we have questions about without nitpicking. But no, I don't like that word. Well, I don't think we should do that.
And I appreciate both the comments, because I'm going to give you something that's real and we're dealing with it now. We're going on almost year 3 with our equity policy, and that's ridiculous. And so we're incorporating a different process so that we don't ever have to do that again. But thank you.
And I think to those points, I think this is both protective of the district, and also we do reference policies a lot. And what we want to do when we're looking at, I'll have principals reach out about something, but like, let me check that board policy. And I want to know that it's up to date and in compliance with Ed Code and not have to cross-check and be like, well, Ed Code says this and the board policy says we need to go with that, even though the board, we want to make sure that we're really all on the same page. And so I appreciate, both the comment about kind of moving forward to get us there expeditiously from Vice President Boyd and also from Trustee Rosenbaum. I think, allowing you to be able to do your due diligence so you feel good about it without, nitpicking, that makes a lot of sense. So that feels like a good way to move forward.
So
Any other comments or public comment on this? And then we'll look for a motion.
I move that we approve the contract with CSBA.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The CSBA policy agreement passes unanimously, and we will now move on to our ratification of the tentative agreement between Service Employees International Union and Albany Unified School District, and I believe I'm handing this over to Marina Gonzalez.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so this item is the product of negotiations with our SEIU bargaining unit. This unit represents our custodians, our maintenance, and our food service workers. And this means they are finally getting the salary increase of the 9.5% that everybody else in the district got, so yay. And then you'll notice at the bottom that we said that there was new language in the list of articles that you see there. The new language is mostly having their contract be in alignment with the other classified union contracts, so they're getting the same benefits around leaves and holidays and all sorts of things that you see listed there. So you had an opportunity to review it. If you have any questions, I'm glad to take any questions.
All right, any board questions on this one? Trustee Rosenbaum?
Just a comment. These people are the backbone of the, along with the counselors, like I said last time. But these are the backbone, and they deserve every penny of this raise. And the thing that has always been a question that I've put out there is, this is an equal raise. We talked at our CSBA meeting about equity. So how do we, in the future, think about moving people so that 9.5% of my salary as a high school principal is not the same as your 9.5%. We have to, I still think that's one of the equity things that we need to discuss in the future.
We agree.
I know.
And I think, and the board agreed, and Dr. Wells, and Jackie Kim, and earlier in this calendar year, around March or so, for both of our classified units, we actually reclassified almost every classification and moved them up several ranges. So we started that work.
We love you guys. That's it.
And that's important to note because no other certificates don't have that latitude, but classified, the two bargaining units do. And we do that in the spirit of equity because you're right. If we didn't do it, it would not be an equitable process.
It's good to know that that's going forward. So I appreciate knowing that and appreciate the board and the district for doing that. So I'll move that we accept the contract agreement. Come on. Okay, good.
We're really bad at it. We get bad at remembering it. Is there any public comment? And actually, I'm not logged in on the Zoom right now.
I've just been trying to figure out how to log into the Zoom because
Okay.
I was worried we were missing
So
something.
we might be missing public comment on the Zoom, so I'm going to just take no? Okay, will you
We don't have any raised hands at this time.
can you for this meeting just let me know if there is any, and then next time we'll figure it out better? Okay. This is a team. Okay, seeing no public comment and no other board questions or comments, now we can do a motion.
Somebody move it besides me. I move the CSEA contract.
And I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the CSEA contract passes unanimously. This moves us on to a more engaging agenda item, and this is our Board of Education school assignments. So the current school assignments have been great, and we've been encouraged to branch out and try some new ones for those of us returning. So basically with this, you work with a school site, and we've been working hard to kind of establish sort of the parameters of this, but it includes attending the site council meetings, it includes attending the PTA meetings, sort of checking in, just, getting their updates and things like that. So there's the Albany Children's Center, Cornell Elementary, Marin Elementary, Ocean View Elementary, AMS, and then Albany High / McGregor. So if anybody has any interest in one of those sites specifically, go ahead.
Definitely Ocean View.
Okay.
And let me interject because I wanted to make a really serious point regarding this. Remember, the last time we did this, folks wanted to be at their school where the kids are, and as a reminder, we are representative of all kids, all 3,500 in the district. And so that's why I'm really pushing our 2 returning trustees to change schools this year so that they can branch out. And so just a reminder to everyone else.
And actually, I want to make sure that everybody does read through this item because it does have really good sort of the protocols and what's expected. And that was challenging for us when we started. And so we really wanted to work on that. And I'm happy to move to AMS or AHS this year. I'd be very happy. But if anyone else is really interested in one of those sites, I'm happy to take something else as well.
Ron and I might want to fight over this one, but I'm quite flexible. But I would like the high school. But obviously, I also want to be where I could be most use. And so I'm happy to defer.
I think it's better for you to take the high school than for me because I've played so many roles there. And I know that they'll call on me if they need me, but you'll call on me if you need me. But I'll go for Marin.
Great.
I can walk there.
Will you be able to when it moves?
Even better.
All right, do you want to do Cornell this year and I'll do AMS?
Oh,
You want to do AMS?
I mean, I can walk to Cornell if that's what we're using as a guide. I would have liked to do AMS, but then you're still at Cornell, which we've been told is not okay. All right, so I will do Cornell. Oh, and the Albany Children's Center, I'm happy to keep that. Someone has to double up. So I'm happy to do that, or someone else can. I just took that on this year.
I can also take on the Children's Center. You could have AMS, and does anyone else want to double up with Cornell? And I can kind of guide you into the contacts and everything.
I was going to say if you wanted to do Ocean View and I can swap with Cornell, that's better.
No, because I can walk to Cornell, so.
I can walk to both.
If you're.
It's all on Zoom.
I'm happy with both. If I need to do both, I'm okay with doing Ocean View and Cornell. Okay, then I'll stick to Ocean View if that's easy with Ocean View.
You can. Why don't you do?
Cornell and the Children's Center.
Okay. Okay.
So it sounds like we're set. We don't need a vote for this, do we?
It is an action item, but we do still need to vote.
Okay.
I think we do have to approve it. Yeah.
So
So
maybe
we're going to do that, and then we're going to pause for a minute for something else very important, I think. Okay, so we have now set this so that ACC will be Melissa Boyd, Cornell will be Melissa Boyd, Marin will be Ron Rosenbaum, Ocean View will be Sadia Khan, Albany Middle School will be myself, Vonnie Davidson, and Albany High School, McGregor, will be Becky Hopwood. Are there any other comments on this item or a motion to approve?
motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. And this agenda item of the board committee, the board school sites passes. And then somebody very special just walked in. We have trustee Brian Doss, and we'd love to give you the official thank you and appreciation that we gave to the others when they were here, and we're so glad you made it safely.
And I'll move that we amend the agenda so that we can do this.
Okay.
Second.
All right, all in favor of amending the agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
I get formal sometimes, not usually.
Good reminders.
Recognize.
Okay, sorry. All right, Dr. Wells.
Okay, great. As I told you, Trustee Brian Doss was traveling at his daughter's basketball game in Martinez, He thought he would be here on time. I laughed. I didn't think so because I know it's traffic. You can say it one last time. I was right and you were wrong. That's okay. No, but on a serious note, you guys all know Trustee Doss, and he has been a real voice for those who have been voiceless. Many people forget, but he had started off with my interaction with him pushing for breakfast and lunch before it became a state mandate for all kids to eat here in Albany, especially those kids who weren't eating breakfast because they couldn't afford it. And because of his push, we were able to find money and start such a program. They heard about it over in Berkeley. Then you had one of the local senators who made the push to make it a thing for all of California. And sometimes you have to have that spark to get that fire to ignite. And so I wanted to acknowledge that the lack of tutoring programs at the elementary school for kids who were struggling. He was very instrumental in helping us get that up and running. And anytime it came to the historically disenfranchised kids, he was not quiet. He was the voice that spoke, and the district got behind him around that. We didn't always agree with the how, but we agreed with the what, because he was 100% on target. And that is something that this community and the board would miss, I think, most about Trustee Doss. So let me take a moment to read what we have for him. It's a thank you. Brian Doss, in honor and recognition of your dedication and commitment to Albany Unified School District, we thank you for your service as Board Trustee 2018 to 2022. Two-time Board Vice President from 2018 to 2020, awarded to you on this day, December 13, 2022. And before you take the mic, we want to show you your swag bag. This is your swag bag. And one of the things we like most in the swag bag is this really popular shirt that our teachers and staff and administrators wear with great pride. In front, it says Albany, and in the back, it says proud. And this is what we do with great unity.
So for the other board members, it looks like you would like to say something, and we took a couple seconds, under a minute each, to appreciate. So I think we'd like to do that for you as well, but do you have something you want to say first?
Sure.
Only if you were, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, well, first, it's been a real honor to have the opportunity to serve. I didn't take it lightly, when I started the process. And as I kind of ramped up and got into it, I still didn't take it lightly. I understood the importance of being on the board. I understood the importance of me specifically and kind of what that represented and what my task was or my job was during my time there. And I hope that I did a good job, and I hope that some of the things that were done and implemented, last, even past my term. And the one thing that I wanted to say is, I think the most important part of being on the board is being a voice for those who don't have one. And I hope that that will continue with the current members of the board, because the need of those students doesn't stop just because the members of the board change. And their struggles don't stop. Their struggles will continue. The struggles of the district and the issues that we have will continue. And so we have to continue to fight towards solutions, and we have to continue to fight for those students and work towards better outcomes. Don't worry, I won't be one of those board members that comes and, or former board members that comes and tries to tell you all how to do the work, right? You were elected by the people, and so, I'll let you do that. But I leave you with, please keep those students in your minds, keep those students in your hearts as you make decisions, because they need you. Thank you.
Vice President Boyd, do you want to say anything?
Having Trustee Brian Doss on the board was a really big part of my joining the board in the first place, and it's hard for me to imagine doing the job without him being a part of doing that job with me. But I want to say I want to honor your passion and your commitment to all of our students and families, but particularly our students and families who have not historically had a voice at the tables of power. I have learned a great deal from you, and I intend to continue to learn a great deal from you because you're not going anywhere and I'm not going anywhere. But I want to honor your commitment and your service, and tell you that it's been an honor to serve with you.
So when I was considering running for the school board and trying to gather signatures, you were the first person who reached out and showed up at my door and said, let me sign your papers in support. And I'm so grateful for you doing that and sort of just welcoming me in. You have been a tireless advocate and just really made me think about situations and circumstances that I might otherwise not have at the forefront of my decisions and my thoughts, and for that I'm also very appreciative. You've also encouraged me to have conversations with people about subjects and topics that I might not forge into otherwise, and for that I'm also very appreciative. So you have given a lot and helped me to be a better person and a better advocate for our students, and to really make sure that I'm always checking that. So if you ever feel like we're not, just send us a text. You have our number. I will say, though, that the other two who left said they weren't they said first they would be on the committees and they would come back, and now they said, okay. So I really appreciate you, and I hope we do hear from you more, and thank you for your service. And I think that there is a public comment on this one.
Good evening, board. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. I was getting an invitation to join as a panelist, and the very reason I'm not there in person is because I am, as they say, indisposed. Third time's the charm, though, because I had raised my hand a couple of times before, and I wasn't able to speak. And it was about the outgoing board members. So I wanted to thank Trustee Doss for his service on the board, and also for his service on the Special Education Advisory Committee, and for oftentimes being the lone voice in the wilderness, raising issues that others may not raise, and keep fighting for them until it was no longer possible to fight because a vote had been taken on the issue. I also wanted to thank outgoing Vice President Duran, because it was her willingness and ability to ask the tough questions that in many ways in the fall of 2020 started righting the ship for special education. She asked a question in the middle of a meeting that elicited a very candid answer, and that prompted Dr. Wells to change course on the direction that special education was taking at the time. And I am very grateful for that. And finally, I'd like to thank outgoing President Hinckley, because all of you already said it. She served with such grace as both trustee and president of the board. She leaves big shoes to fill, and I hope a new president, Davidson, is up to fill them, and that you can do as great a work as she did during her tenure in this really extremely unimaginably tough times to lead school district in the middle of a global pandemic. So thank you, everyone, and welcome to the new members, and thank you to the new president and vice president for stepping up to serve.
It looks like we have one more public comment here.
You know, I just want to say my public comment. I just want to thank you personally, Brian Doss, for being one of the school board members that appointed me as a school district representative for the Albany Social and Economic Justice Commission. I've been on that commission for 2 years, and I can't thank you enough. It's given me purpose. It's given me responsibility. It's connected me with the school district and the community. And I never would have thought 2 years ago I'd be standing here today doing what I'm doing, trying to bring fentanyl awareness, making public comment. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, we'll now return to our review and action calendar. And our next item is the Board of Education committee assignments. So we have the 2x2x2 committee, which is the president and vice president, and that stays. Okay, the next committee is the Board Policy Committee, and this one previously was Vice President Duran and myself, and I think we'll let the student board members choose at the next meeting. We've done that in the past. Is anybody interested in the Board Policy Committee? Okay. Anybody else? I'm going to just express that this one's very difficult for me to attend because it's at a time that I actually have a real schedule conflict. So if anyone else is interested, I would happily give them that to fill. Otherwise, I will work hard to be there as often as possible. Okay, Becky, thank you. And then we have the Budget Advisory Committee. This one was President Hinckley and Trustee Doss. Does anybody have any interest in this committee? Sadia. Okay, Sadia, and I'll happily do this one as well. Okay. Next, we have the, is this committee's in black, the Career and Technical Education Committee. Is that one meeting right now?
It's not. I think it would be good to suspend that for at least a year.
So we are suspending the Career and Technical Education Committee for the, till spring of '23, and then maybe we'll revisit it next fall? Okay. Next is the Environmental Action Plan Committee, and this was President Hinckley and myself. Great, Ron, anybody else interested in this one? It's a lovely committee with some amazing community members. We have one here. I'll stay on that one if we don't get anybody else. And, okay. Next is the Fundraising Advisory Committee. Again, is this one suspended again? Okay. I hope we can get this one up and going, just if it's even one annual meeting with all of our PTAs to just get everyone on the same page if possible. Okay, great. So we'll suspend that one and set that up. The Special Education Advisory Committee. And the Student Achievement Committee, which was formerly Melissa Boyd and Vice President Duran, and
I can take that. Okay.
so Becky Hopwood and Melissa. And the final one that we have is the Wellness Advisory Committee, which was Trustee Boyd and Vice President Duran. You do have two school sites, Trustee Boyd, or Vice President Boyd. Okay, so we're gonna have Ron on that one, and I guess we should explain also that these meet once a month, so it's not a big thing, and they're about an hour-and-a-half meeting for each committee, and they're facilitated by a district staff member. So you're there mostly as just an advisory person, just to not facilitate, but just to sort of observe, be present, and then hear if there's any public comment that maybe really needs to be brought back. Does that about sum it up?
Yes, in addition to that, it's connected with your standing board reports. It's always a good idea to loop the community and staff in with what's going on in those committees. It's a good way to communicate.
And I lost track a little bit as we were going through. Do we all have sort of equal amount of assignments? Because I'm happy to take something else.
How about if I go back and we do it again? So we've got the board policy has Ron and Becky. So keep track of how many you have. The Budget Advisory Committee has Sadia and myself. The Environmental Action Planning Committee has Ron and myself. The Special Education has Melissa and Sadia. The Student Advisory Committee has Becky and Melissa. And the Wellness has Ron and Sadia. So I would say that we are about fair. The only thing is that, Sadia, you have one more than.
I've got 3.
And you have 3, you have 3, you have 2.
Happy to take on anything else.
I'll call you in if we need a sub for a meeting. Okay, so we are now ready to, I guess, take any comment on that one, if anyone has any comment, or just a motion to approve this action item.
Move to approve.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. The motion passes unanimously. We are now moving on to, seriously, I did not realize how much Sarah was doing back here. Whew.
First interim.
We are now on the first, except the first interim financial report. Okay, I am assuming I'm passing this over to you, Superintendent Wills?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Annually, we get into our first interim report done by our very own CBO, Jackie Kim, and so I'm going to pass the baton over to her at this time.
Thank you, Dr. Wells. So good evening, board and Dr. Wells and Albany community. This is very exciting for me because this is my first time presenting this first interim to the new board. So I will go a little slow today, and any questions are welcomed. This is for the review for current financial status of the district and approve the positive certification for 22-23 first interim report. And I'm going to move to the presentation.
Could I just, if you flip the switch on underneath, your mic will stay on. That way you have 2 hands free. It took me a while to remember that.
Thank you. So the reporting cycle for the budget is in June, I bring the budget adoption. So that is the first budget cycle. And the second one is the revised budget. And this is something if it's necessary, meaning that if there's any big changes, we bring this budget and it is due August 15th. So it's called 45-day revision, and it should be available to the public. So we have shared with the board and also post the information on the website. And now the third one is the first interim report. The reporting period is from July 1st to October 31st, and the deadline for the state and to the ACOE, Alameda County Office of Education, ACOE, is to December 15th. Okay. So then all items here is the budget, which is the projection numbers, and the last item on audited actuals are the actual numbers, which we call it book closing. Okay. So the purpose of the first interim report is we analyze and revise the operating budget for the updated informations. And I'm going to go a little further later on the next page. And we also communicate the overall financial condition of the district to the board, county office of education, state, and our community for the fiscal period ending October 31st, 22. Okay, now then budget is updated with the more current projections of how the district will operate throughout the fiscal year and 2 subsequent years. So this first interim report is very different from other report because the last time I brought this budget report to the board was in June, which was before we start the new school year. So we didn't know the number of students. We didn't know the number of staffing. But now we do know the actual enrollment. So we know exactly how many students in every classroom. So then we also know the actual staffing numbers. Okay, and also actual health and welfare cost, which is issued in sometime in summer. And the SOX fiscal report is about 130 pages that it was in the agenda packet. And this interim report also include 3-year projection, meaning the current year of 22-23 and 2 subsequent years. And the legal requirement for this report. So there is a certification that we will have to issue and we certify. And we will certify as a positive for the first interim of 22-23, which means district will meet its financial obligation for the current and 2 subsequent years. So we'll go a little further later on, but we'll need to have 3% reserve, which is a state requirement, at year 3, and we meet all the financial obligation and reserve. And we do not want to be in the situation of qualified and negative, which is those last 2 items. That means that county and the state will have opinions and will be involved with our finance. Okay. So the enrollment, why is this enrollment so important? So our revenue is driven by the real term is really attendance, but the attendance is really about 96.6% of our enrollment. So we get funded about 10 to 12,000 per students annually. And in 2014-15, we had about 3,881 students. And in 22-23, we have about 3,531. So there is a significant drop. However, I will say the trend has been dropping, but last year and this year, we had a really great, successful inter-district transfer recruiting. Again, we got about 108 students this year. So this year, we didn't drop for the enrollment numbers. So this means we are getting about a little over 1.1 million or 1.2 million, I would say, more than we could have. So this is really great success for the district. Okay. So let's look at the changes from the budget adoption. So when we brought this budget in June, we had about 38 vacancies, FTE. FTE means full-time employee. So that means 38 FTE vacancy doesn't mean 38 bodies. It could be maybe 45 personnel, right? Can have a part-time positions and few hours here and there. And now it's reduced to 14 FTE. So the budget, which is the expenditure, is also adjusted accordingly. This includes one-time grant and adjusted COLA at 13.26%. And this information was also included in the 45-day revision in August. So those one-time grants are Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant, Art, Music, and Instructional Materials Discretionary Block Grant. And with all this great year that we have 9.5% raises, and that is also reflected in this budget. Special education contributions is increased by $550K, and this is aligned with the state and nationwide trend. There is just more cost for the special education programs, more services in that area, and high cost. Okay, general fund contribution of $250K. So this is something new that I like to speak about. So we have a great partial tax Measure J and B. So Measure J is about $4.5 million. The thing about Measure J is we do not have any increase in Measure J. It's a flat, okay? So when we have a raises, well, any cost is going up, for any contractor services, we cannot catch up. Or the psychs or library tech or librarians or other sports athletics. So general fund this year will have to support those areas that we used to pay and covered by partial tax. And Measure B, we are increasing them by published CPI, the Consumer Price Index. This year was 5%, which is not also catching up with our increase in cost paid by Measure J, B and J both. So there's something new, and I will see that. I think I expect that this it might be a trend for us now. Okay. Another change for the budget adoption, from the budget adoption. So textbook adoption of 200,000. So this is a great news because it's due to early completion of the textbook adoption process. We anticipated this is going to take longer, and maybe it might not happen until next year, but it happened this year. So this is great that our students got to have new textbook earlier than we expected. Okay. Albany Children's Center before and after school program, and then preschool program. So the contributions of 83K will be made by the end of this year. It is budgeted, and it is due to changes in funding. The formula can change and also has less enrollment in the first quarter. Now we are full. Received state facility grant of $4.5 million. So this is really, really great for Albany. And this plan was brought to the board December of last year. So the tightening of the budget creates accurate and timely financial pictures. However, this does not include any unanticipated items, unanticipated litigations, new expenditures, or new revenue. Okay. So let's look at the pie chart for our total revenue for the general fund. So when I really talk about the budget, we are really focusing on general fund because the other items are food service fund or construction fund. Those can be handled separately, and we really want to focus on general fund. Okay. So the LCF source is about 62% in our revenue. That is what we get from the state based on our enrollment. And when you see the second big pie chart here is the other state revenue of 22%, and that is the one-time block grant and other lottery monies or any title monies. So all these are restricted funding. Okay, the 11% top three is our partial tax, thanks to our community again for us to spend this money and invest in our classroom. Okay, the expenditure pie chart. So as you can see, about 83% of our district budget is on salaries and benefits. Okay, it's because we need to teach our students and we need personnel. Now, the second biggest pie chart here is the operating cost of 13%. So that includes utilities, contracted services, insurance, or lease rent, like Berkeley office rent, for instances, or any portables we have at the site, repairs or field trips, anything you can think of other than salaries and benefits. It also includes like audit costs or legal fees. Okay, so now we only have a 4% for books and supplies, meaning the textbooks, and anything else happens in the classroom as supplies. Okay. So this is the assumptions that we used to build multi-year projection. So multi-year projection is this current year projection up to June 30th of 2023 and next 2 years. So as you can see the enrollment, so this is a trend. We are still in declining enrollment, and that is the fact in Bay Area, especially because of high cost of living and also trend in state of California. The average daily attendance, the second line item, this is where we actually get funded at, which is about 96.6% of our enrollment. So now there's a new item called funded ADA. So the state realized that we have a big decrease in enrollment in the state of California. So now we are getting funded 3-year average ADA. So when you see the second ADA and the funded ADA, we have a slight higher ADA there. So this is a great news for us. And the next one, KALB. So in 22-23, we have 13.26% KALB, which is never heard of, which is great. So this was able to do cover a lot of costs that cost a lot more than ever, and also raise that we had. And the next item, all these 4 line items, so you can see that we get funded about 10,000 to 12,000 per student per year. Okay. And those unduplicated count percentages, about 28 to 33%. That means that we have English learners, low-income families, and foster cares. Those 3 categories. And we get extra funding for those unduplicated count students. Okay, and the rest stays pretty much the same. There are not really a lot of changes here. So these assumptions were used, and this assumption is really provided by the state and the county office of ed. Okay. And this is the multi-year financial projection, so I like to go back and show you the board backup. Okay, so here we are. So this is the first column. You can see that this year and next 2 years. So you will see the fund balance reserve percentages over at 3%, about 3.28% at year 3. And the state requirement is of 3%. So we meet our reserve percentages. Now the next steps. So January 2023, we will have 23-24 governance budget. So we get to hear about what's going to happen in 23-24 school year. And in March, we'll have a second interim report, meaning another update of the budget. The first interim is a big picture of the first interim budget is that now we have school open. This is where we are in the first quarter. So second interim budget period is January 31st, meaning we had a half of the school year. So now let's take a look at it where we are. Okay. May revised workshop. So this is more of more details from the governor's workshop for 23-24. And now June 23, this is a big month. So board will get to hear 23-24 budget public hearing and adoption. Okay. So any questions from the board?
So can I frame it like this? So this is just us saying that we accept that we are certifying as positive, right? This isn't really where we're having a discussion and expecting you to make changes to anything, but we will have opportunities for that to happen at a couple of junctures in the future. And can I just clarify, the May 2023 revised workshop, is that the board budget workshop, or that's a workshop you attend?
For workshop for me and Dr. Wells to attend.
And I would love to ask that maybe in that March to June time that we do another budget workshop with our new board members like we did last year. It was incredibly helpful, and it really gave us a time to talk about our priorities as a board. So I'd really like to push for that. And so with that, we can ask questions kind of about clarifying and things like that, but I'm hoping, I made my notes here of thoughts I have, but I'm gonna put them in for a future email for those workshops. But please ask your clarifying questions or anything like that. Trustee Rosenbaum.
Surprise, surprise. So I have just some clarifying questions, and I'm not a budget kind of person, so as people who have worked with me know that, but I do have people that understand this better than me. First, I want to thank you because our board handbook talks about eliminating acronyms, or at least explaining them, and you did a very good job of that, so I really appreciate it, because public doesn't always know what LCFF is, for example. Matter of fact, some of us might not know what LCFF is or understand it. One thing I noticed, though, is that we're looking at deficit spending in each of the projected 3 years. So, as we go along, we might want to know what we're going to do about that and how we're going to deal with it, because our reserve is going to go down every year. And that's in your chart. It's very clear to, even I could understand it. The other thing also is declining enrollment. Now I understand COVID did a lot, but what do we address? How do we address? For example, I noticed that the the enrollment figure and the ADA were off by about 117 students. I just noticed that. So, what can we do to get the children that are enrolled in school into the classroom? And that's an equity issue. It's all kinds of an issue. So I'm hoping that we could think about that and address that as well. And then there were a couple of things that I just didn't. What is declining enrollment mitigation? It's on page 2 of all your spreadsheets.
Yes, so let's see, in the,
If you don't know, you can get back to us.
no,
Yeah.
Declining enrollment, declining mitigation were efforts we did in terms of recruiting ITP students.
Thank you.
Which cost me.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, Mike, I don't need detailed answers. These are just the things that jumped out at me.
Can I jump in for a sec? Did that also have to do with, we had a change in how we had to sort of classify our money this last year? And so one of the buckets that we could put money into was declining enrollment mitigation. And so I don't know if that's reflected here.
I get it. Thank you. That's it. Oh, the vacancies. How do we end up going into a year with 38 vacancies? And where were those vacancies?
so, I should mention this. Okay, so this vacancy from 38 is, I look at the historical data, it's just where we are usually in June, because a lot of people leave. Right? So that's the historical number, and it's in the area. And also reduced to 14 FTE, also it is in that area, so I don't actually see anything special about these numbers. It's more of, we still have a vacancy for para-educators, some food service workers, maintenance areas. So those are those vacancies that we have, and also I believe ACC program has some vacancies.
And I know we had some teachers who left at the last minute.
Right.
I got that through all the people I know who teach here.
But we want to be clear about our core programs, i.e. teachers, that we fill those positions, making sure every kid has a teacher.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Okay, any public comment on this? And I'm watching our Zoom screen now as well. Seeing none, we can now entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the first interim report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The first interim financial report passes unanimously. And now we are going to move on to our board member and superintendent reports. Superintendent Wells, would you like to start us off?
Sure. First, I want to say we're ahead of schedule, so good job. And it's okay to finish early and on time and not stay till 2 a.m. in the morning. And so I applaud that. My superintendent report, I had planned to table the report until next meeting. But I do want to say that change is inevitable, and we embrace it with great enthusiasm. And I want to welcome the new school board trustees. I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you. I want to also bring to our attention that we start the meeting reading meeting norms that are reflected in our governor's handbook. And this shouldn't be a ritual, but this should be a practice that we adhere to. That norms reads as that we disagree respectfully. And we hold high offices, hence we have a high responsibility, meaning that people are watching what we do, not what we say, and we have kids who are with us throughout the year in the meetings, and folks around the community watch what we do. So I want to encourage you guys to bring civility to the board. Make it a respectable board and a board that disagrees spiritedly, but always respectfully. Thank you.
So I do not have a board president report tonight. Just want to say that I think everyone's looking forward to this break coming up, and I hope that everyone has time with those that they choose to spend it with and enjoys that, and I hope that everybody stays healthy. And I'm really looking forward to my new work with a new school site and on some new committees.
And Madam Chair, I'm sorry, just as a reminder, and as a new chairperson, one of the rules we have, the first and foremost, I would be remiss. I want to congratulate you on the board president position.
Thank you.
And a big congratulations to you. And two, as one of the persons who go to annually to the CSB workshop, president workshop, one of the things they like to do is have the president go last. And then have
that's right.
Go first. That's okay. We learn from each other, and we get reminders. And sometimes there's a lot of nerves being up here the first time, and it's going to get so much better.
We need to write
Thank
these. Well, you and I had discussed that we would just table them all, so it was kind of like, do we put it in though? So are we going to have everyone make them if they want?
And everything that Superintendent said, I'm looking forward to doing business, doing it expeditiously, and with the mind of this is for the kids, and we all have to learn how to agree and learn how to agree to disagree. And congratulations, I'm glad we're working together, and sometimes I talk a lot because I've been around for so long, and so, I'm very observant, and I know how the district and other districts work, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Go ahead, Trustee
You
Hopwood.
don't have to, by the way.
Not much to report on yet, but yeah, just to echo what you guys have already said, I'm looking forward to serving with all of you on the board, and I'm looking forward to sort of civil discourse.
Just echoing the same, I'm really excited to work with everyone. I do have a quick report on, we did a book fair at Ocean View, and I'm super happy to report that we sold over 1,000 books. So there's over 1,000 books in our Ocean View kiddos' hands. And in doing so, we also raised just like a couple dollars under $5,000 for us to use at the Scholastics website to order books for our library as well. So we're super looking forward to that. Hoping to set a higher goal for next year, but this is huge for our kiddos, and we're really, really excited about this.
I thought that I did not have a report, but listening to Trustee Khan, that reminded me, like, oh, I can say a thing, actually. In addition to echoing what's been said and looking forward to continuing to serve and to serve with the new board members and the continuing board member, President Davidson, I will just say that the Black Parent Advisory Group is hosting a Kwanzaa celebration on Thursday, December 6, 7, 8, 9, 8? 9. I think it's December 29th. It's the Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m., I believe. It's at Cornell. It's going to be really lovely. There will be students who are reciting the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, lighting candles. We'll have good food. We always have great food at our Black Parent Advisory Group events. Everyone is welcome. Everyone in the district, people in town, et cetera, everyone is welcome to come and celebrate. And so there will be emails sent out about that on the Parent Square, and that sort of thing, but just be on the lookout, and happy holidays to everyone. Stay safe and healthy.
I actually did forget something that we're supposed to appreciate in the community, and do you have something else? Go for it.
Sorry. I also wanted to mention Familias Latinas is having a potluck as well on the 18th from 12:30 to 4:30 p.m. Location is still to be determined, so I will try to update you, and hopefully it'll be on Parent Square, but that is coming up. Bring some food, enjoy the, it's open to everybody, but yeah.
Just note, I would put both the announcement and my Friday communication to the community, and so make sure the word gets out to all of our parents.
And generally, our student board members are experts at all of these things, so we don't worry about them.
We're lost without them.
We need them back. The last thing is I just wanted to appreciate our community members who helped paint a beautiful mural on the wall of the ACC campus. There's a butterfly mural up there. It was really sad that I could not attend their ribbon cutting, but I saw pictures, and it's, yeah.
Yeah, the pictures are online if people want to see them. It's really, I wasn't aware. Those are the kind of things that really make a difference.
So we're really appreciative to all of those folks who helped make that happen and added a little beauty to Albany. And I think at this point we are going to, hold on,
Upcoming agenda items.
Yep. There we go. Upcoming agenda items. It's sandwiched right in here. Does anyone have any upcoming agenda items on the board? And then we'll go to public comment on that. Go for it.
I'll go first.
Well, no, Trustee Rosenbaum, you're first. We'll do the board first, and then we'll go to public comment.
Yeah, I'd like us to agendize, excuse me, my mouth isn't working. Relooking at the board handbook, because I think that there's some things that either have gone by the wayside or maybe need to be eliminated or changed. So I would like to spend some time in the near future talking about things like timing of the board, all those things that are timing of the meetings, all those things that, in my observation, some of them haven't been working, and we need to decide as a group how we want to handle that and how we want to live with it.
I do remember that when we started on the board, we all had to sign the board handbook, and so we had a chance to look through it. So perhaps we could do, we've not done a retreat in forever, and that was brought up at CSBA, so maybe we could schedule a retreat afternoon or day or a workshop or something.
We have our attorney on deck for that.
Sounds like a plan. Anyone else? All right. Public comment?
Hello, everybody. So I had a couple afterthoughts. I just want to start with those first. City Council, I was in CERT. I graduated in CERT last week, and it was just such a nice environment to have people come to these meetings. It really kind of lightened up it kind of broke the ice of the meeting. It made it kind of fun. And not saying that these meetings are fun, which they are, but I was going to suggest just to get more people coming, maybe we can honor a teacher of the month, maybe even a student of the month from each school. And also, when I was standing up here, I threw in a parent of the month. And so that would get parents, teachers, and students attending these meetings and getting recognition of the hard work that they all do. So I'm just going to suggest student, parent, teacher of the month to be recognized. Also, I don't know if it needs to be agendized, but I forgot to mention my public comment. I sent an email about 5 minutes ago reminding everybody about the Alameda County Narcan training, and it's free, and it goes all through January. I signed up for the December 29th class, but it could be a way to get teachers and staff trained and certified to administer Narcan if they need. And I mean, if you want to send the email out to the parents, you can do that as well, but I just want to at least make this on a future agenda. I don't know if it needs to be a future agenda item to approve teachers and staff to take the training, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Thank you.
Actually, I think that I saw something somewhere that we were actually moving ahead with that already. So thanks. I read that what you wrote, and I know that we have a Narcan at every site, and training is something that I think our superintendent has been looking into. It's a good point.
All right, any other public comment here? And I'm checking our Zoom screen for raised hands. And it looks like we have one public comment on Zoom. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I missed the people commenting on the public thing. I'm Miss Patty from Cornell, and I just wanted to say thank you all for your service. Thank you to the outgoing board members, and thank you to the new board members, and thank you all for taking time out of your lives to help support our students and our staff. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of the amazing things that I know you're going to do. So welcome, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, seeing no additional agenda items being added, I think we are ready to look at our closed session items and allow for any public comment on our closed session items. Well, it says recognize, it says 14, recognize closed session item and allow for public comment.
Yeah, number 14.
Is that right? Okay.
So I think in closed session, we'll be talking about personnel items, which are closed session items. So I move that we move to closed session.
Well, seeing no public comment, this meeting is adjourned, and we will move to closed session. Thank you all for coming. Yeah, we'll meet in there in a little bit.
And then we need to come back to open session again to report out.
Oh, I'm sorry, we'll report out at the end of our closed session if you want to stay.
Yeah, we did all kinds of nasty things.
You're gonna love this. Okay, are we live again? Oh.
Reconvene to open session to report action taken in closed session.
No, I understand that. We have to do the technology. Is that okay? Thank you. I was gonna say I can go in and ask him.
It looks like we're on.
Okay, yeah. We're here just to report on our closed session. There was no action taken in closed session this evening, and so we will adjourn this meeting completely.
Thank you.
Well, good night. Now I think we're off.